try to start our music over again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Cosplay Cafe on this kind of crazy, hectic Friday. I am your barista, Andrea. I've got one more ad to play, and then we will be bringing in our guests and starting our conversation. Where is it? Oh, I'm having a great day, I promise.
I've been a superhero for a long time. It used to be so simple. You catch the bad guys, do the right thing, save the world. Then I met Aiden, and things got complicated.
Iris recruited me as a kid and turned me into their own personal weapon. I couldn't see any way out until I met Marty. But now we're going to burn their entire organization down if we can.
Forces of Nature, books 1 and 2, Scorcher and Thin Ice are available now wherever books are sold online. See www.kellyguentner.com.
Pokeballs by Crayley is your one-stop shop for handmade magical creations that celebrate all the Pokemon universe has to offer. Available on Craylevanest.com, that's CraylevanEst.com, and possibly coming to a con near you.
All right, so those are the ads for my other baristas that are not here tonight. But I'm going to welcome our first guest, host. Words. I'm promise, guys, having a great day. We're gonna bring in my lovely. I guess most people call her my other half, the other half of my brain. So I guess she has the brain cell today. Hunter Chick.
Sometimes there was sometimes today where I had the brain cell, but as always. In person,
advertise the Pokeballs.
Pokeball by Crayley. Amazing detail. And there's also different sizes.
And mugs and all sorts of fun things.
Mm-hmm. Both are Ninetales, but she does have other Pokemon. Don't worry, it's not just Ninetales. I have them all.
That's just your favorite Pokemon. If your favorite Pokemon has a toy, she probably can make a Pokeball for you.
Yes. She does take requests.
And so today, I think the last time you were actually co-hosting with me was when our guest that is here today was on.
That's what I was thinking too. So I think that was the last time he was on.
We had our guest that is here tonight. We had him on about 2 or so months ago. We were talking about cosplay contests, and we wanted to continue to chat. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in TJ, Gravel Road Cosplay.
Hello.
As I said, we're calling this one "We're Still Judging You." that's what we're judging you with kindness.
Yes, it comes from a place of love and kindness.
Plus, they asked for it.
Definitely.
So. Yeah.
That's true. That is very true. If you have entered a cosplay contest, you're asking to be judged. That is the only time you should be judged in costume.
Yes.
But it still should be in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. With constructive feedback, constructive criticism.
Agreed.
Not tearing people down and being rude.
No.
But we had so much to talk about last time that we probably could have gone on for several hours. So we just said, and we can't do it. Let's just have TJ back on and keep going.
Yeah, and I had so much fun last time. I was happy to come back whenever you asked me.
I am stoked. Like I said, we met 5 years ago because some of the cosplay battle things are popping up in like my memories. So 5 years ago, when you and I were teamed up in the Extraordinary Men of Cosplay Challenge, a little battle there. So
the wild cards.
We were the wild cards. We were that last minute. We were like, okay, well, we didn't get in, whatever, cool. And then Hunter, literally, I'm at work and she's texting me like, they have a wild card. Enter your Queen of Hearts right now. And she was like keeping me updated on the voting. So it was pretty cool considering that I'm like, yeah, I've been rejected again. It's fine. It's fine, guys. It's fine. But,
Mine was the Doctor Who, my 7th Doctor.
Yes. I think we did pretty good for just being the random pairing, not characters that matched together.
Yeah, we did really good.
Yeah, we did really good. We made it to the semifinals, I think.
Yeah. And Hunter made it to the final round of hers that first year.
Yeah.
With because you were rogue in your first one, so
It was a Rogan Gambit
while.
matchup.
Yeah, I haven't seen them do the contest like that in a while, but it was fun.
I haven't either. I was actually, whenever we did the first one of these podcasts, I was like, it brought up that memory, and I was like, wait a minute, I haven't seen those in years. So
yeah, it was a nice little distraction during COVID when we were in it. So but we're here again. We're going to talk cosplay contest. This time, both TJ and the Cosplay Cafe asked people if they had any questions concerning cosplay contest judging. We even had some ask about being a judge, not just being in the contest. So we got a good little variety of questions from people. So I'm going to do something just slightly different because we wanted to cover real quick. TJ sent in a couple of new pictures.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to get into the questions. So we're going to cover these 2 new pictures that he sent us real quick.
Yeah,
and
these are real throwbacks.
Then we're going to have fun with the questions. So let's look at these real quick.
Okay, so this is my first cosplay. It's from True Detective, HBO's series True Detective, the first season. And it's kind of a mashup of 2 characters. And it's the first thing that I cosplayed. I loved the show so much and I wanted to do it. And it's basically all thrifted. The clothes, the mug. Well, no, I bought the mug for this purpose. And I made the crown. I did buy the wig. And so most of it was thrifted. And I had so much fun. And it was one of those cosplays that not many people knew what it was, but I didn't care. I loved it. The people that did recognize it loved it. And they had such a huge reaction because the show had either wrapped or it was still airing, but it was still, in the conscious at that time. And then so definitely now it's, 10 years? No, this was my first cosplay. So that's going on 13 years.
That's wild. You realize how long you've been doing this sometimes. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, I was a baby.
Yeah.
And this is the other new one that you have sent us.
And so speaking of baby, this was my first build. I did the Witch King of Angmar. And have you heard the word crunchy? Describing cosplay. So admittedly, this is a little crunchy. It was my first construction. I made the helmet out of cardboard and plaster wraps. And I used the plaster wraps to kind of give the pitted metal look. And so it looked pretty good. And I was so proud of this. I worked on it so hard. I worked on it for hours and days, and people recognized it. And I was so happy with it. And it had a great response out of people. And adults, they loved it, and they had their kids, but the kids were scared of it. And so I, gave my sword to the kids, and then I put it under my arm and did kind of like this. But then whenever I did that, they loved it. They got so into it. And one kid pulled the sword out from under my arm. It was hitting me with it. And I was like, okay, that's a little much, but.
That's awesome. I don't know. I love when there's the kids that are absolutely terrified of something until they interact like that, or the ones that only want to see the scary.
Yeah.
They're just like, yes, there's the bad guy. I love those because you always get that one or two that you're like, that kid's in his villain era right now, and we're for it.
Oh yes,
we definitely we've gotten a few of those. So I've been that one. Kelly's working on getting some of our streaming stuff. We've been having trouble with it wanting to go to our Facebook. So hopefully we can get that straightened out because a lot of our viewers watch us through Facebook and not YouTube. So it's been acting really, really wonky. So if you are watching this on Facebook, there's a chance it says it's live, but we're not because we've had to put it on Facebook after the fact. So if you're watching it and we're not answering your comments or questions while on Facebook, that's probably why we're not actually live. So we're trying to get it worked out. StreamYard's a funny thing. It's fun, really interesting when you go live. But if you are watching and you have questions or comments that we aren't covering, please ask. That's what we're here for, to talk about this contest stuff today. So TJ thankfully has the questions that people sent him because in the last 30 minutes, I cannot find my phone that had all of the ones he sent me. because I am a disaster of a human. And as I said, I think Hunter has the brain cell at the moment. So
while I post on Instagram that we're live, because even though I was ready 30 minutes early, I'm posting.
forgot to post. Well, I usually do post that we're going live, but can't find my phone. And, being a millennial, my phone hasn't rung in years. It has not had the sound up in probably ever.
What I
So,
think is funny is I always have my phone on vibrate, except for like certain circumstances.
Yeah.
And yet when I'm on stuff like this, I always make sure I'm like, is this on silent? Is this gonna ring?
Mhm.
I'm like, I haven't
it's
had
like if
this.
my phone suddenly turned the sound up all by itself, I am the same way.
Yeah.
So I get it. But that's the reason I couldn't find my phone. I've got moms running through the house going, maybe I'll hear it vibrating somewhere. No.
Why am I not finding?
Because brains. So
Oh, there it is.
let's
Okay.
get started.
Apparently, you just had to put one more letter and then it finds it. So,
But we're gonna start talking cosplay contests. You've had enough of hearing about our train wrecks of days, so
Yeah.
it's fine. So I know one that I do remember that was sent to me, and they wanted to do it anonymously, which is fine. We were not asking you to give your name because not everybody wants to say, hey, I have this question about a thing. They asked me about judging groups. They're like, how do you judge a group?
ooh, that's
And the way I learned before I started running contests myself was you judge them by the highest skill level in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of sucks if you have a master and a novice in a group.
Mm-hmm.
But, you can't pad it and put a group with like in a novice category when you got a bunch of masters.
Yeah.
I also explained if nobody else in the group made the costumes but you, you are getting that award, not the group usually, unless it's a performance base.
Usually they're the models, basically.
Right. I'm like, this is a crafts person who made the outfits.
Yeah, for everybody.
And these are their models.
Mhm.
So, that's how I have always, from multiple types of cons where I've judged, had people who, created their own rules. That's the way it's always worked. So I don't know if it's been different for you, TJ, judging groups.
I've had that because I've judged a group category itself, and then competitions that don't have a group category, but they allow groups into novice, journeyman, and master. But it's exactly like you said that I've experienced that the highest level competitor is where they are placed for their competition. And so they can sometimes be like hamstrung by the lowest skilled person. And whenever we're judging, we also try and figure out who did what. That helps us, look at things. And then in some of the competitions, it is judged by time. They have an allotment of time. And for groups, they are a little bit more flexible. They give 1 or 2 extra minutes on that so that the judges can evenly see every competitor in the group.
Yeah, I know a lot of them, like I said, they give a time limit, but groups usually get a little longer. But they also do ask you, limit your number. I say, don't put any more than 4, maybe 5 in a group. Because then if you're trying to get like a 10-person group judged in a 4-minute span, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I will say, I definitely prefer the contests where groups are a separate category.
Yeah.
I really do.
Like when I make my rules, if the con I'm working with allows it, I do a group or duo because sometimes you just have a duo. Group duo category so that they can enter that and not necessarily have to be put into a skill division that they might be like all over the place with.
And I like that because it's just more awards. More people can be recognized and, get the awards. Yeah.
We actually, it was funny because we touched on that on the last episode with Lauren Knight we said that because we were talking about closet cosplay and how that is 100% a valid form of cosplay.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're like, like closet cosplay put together, you didn't make anything, but you managed to thrift the crap out of that costume and you look amazing. A lot of cons should have that. That is a division instead of just having like an exhibition, because the exhibition is more about the performance, whereas closet cosplay, people put a lot of work into making it look like it from found objects.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the best way to do that costume. Because,
Yeah.
for example, are you going to just sew up a cardigan and a t-shirt and pants and everything instead of just doing what you did and, throw it all together? I mean, it's perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah. Why try to make a pair of jeans when you don't have to?
If you can make a pair of jeans, you are going to be...
Well, I can.
You can. Well, I know you can. I wasn't meaning you.
Yeah.
You can make anything. You're about to help me pick a purse.
Well, I wouldn't say anything, but hey, my Invisible Woman fabric came in yesterday, so we're gonna see.
Ooh.
Oh, show us right now.
Oh, it's in a box in the other room, and if I open the door,
That's what I was expecting. Oh, it's right here.
Everybody goes, just don't show up. I'm like, yeah, I'm not missing out on events. Thanks.
Hey, you helped me sew spandex in a surgeon.
Yeah.
That takes skill.
Hunter's an engineer, and it just was not going through their mechanical engineer brain how to use a sewing machine.
Like me.
It's okay.
I need that. I need the grids. Where's the grids?
Yeah. Like the lines.
Okay. I remember one more that we had before we get into the questions TJ had, because this was sent to both our Instagram and our email. They were asking about how we feel about natural wear and tear on a costume being entered. They're like, how pristine should it be when it is entered?
I think it should.
That's actually, he actually just sent the question. So here it is. And he sent it in our comments just now. How important is it in judging that a costume look pristine every time versus showing some natural wear from frequent use?
We've had that
right on time. Thank you.
I know that was perfect. Also, thank you for sharing that
Creations.
Oh,
look at that.
Yeah, they shared us on Instagram, their story. So thank you.
Yeah, I met them in Toronto.
Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and your Canadian boyfriend up there.
I just came back from Vancouver like 6 months ago.
Ooh.
It's a lot of fun.
So, do you have thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think the wear and tear should look natural, because like if you are sewing a ranger from D&D or like a Witcher character. Okay, Witcher. People might be more familiar with the Witcher. He's out in the woods and tromping through the mud, riding his horse, fighting monsters, and then so he's gonna have his clothes torn up. He's gonna have dirt and grime, and so it wants to look natural. That's gonna look natural. And then so if you do have wear and tear just from wearing your costume around, it's gonna rub in places that naturally wear and rub, like bending your elbows and then where seams are and stuff. And so that's going to
the thighs.
It's going to lean into the realism effect of it.
Yeah, I think also like for me, a lot of times when I make a competition costume, that's the first time I wear it. So it's gonna be at its peak. But I've had a few that I have like my Captain Carter. I had her for a whole year before I ever put her in a contest, and I wore her a lot in that first year. But she's a character that a little wear and tear doesn't look bad on. It's a battle outfit.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think I've thought about trying to find somewhere to take my Anastasia and enter it. And yes, I've had that one for several years now, but I try to keep it as clean as possible because that is a princess dress. So I would suggest if you're entering it later on after working on it, maybe you've done tweaks to it, try to keep it in good condition. Mm-hmm. But if we see, that it's gotten maybe the hem is a little not as clean, you can tell that it's drugged the ground a little bit over wears. Say, I've had it for this amount of time, this is just because it has been worn a few times. Don't enter anything that's got tearing seams or, your hem is frayed like you walked off the back of your jeans or something. But
unless it's meant to look that way.
Right.
Exactly.
Some
I
cosplays
remember,
lean themselves. They call for the weathering where some others
yeah.
don't. But in a
Everybody
competition, I've
okay.
been a judge on a panel at a competition, and it had rained, and then so people were coming in with their ball gowns, and the bottom hems were wet, and then there was mud splatters on things, and so things like that we did take into consideration. That everyone
Judges
we
will.
were all like, "It rained. It's not supposed to look like this,"
Yeah.
and we're like, yeah, we get it.
We can't control natural phenomenon, unfortunately. So,
We're not Storm.
No. And we even joke here in Memphis that even Storm doesn't control the weather here. No, she doesn't. She's like, Memphis can have whatever it's got. But I've told people, like, when I wear Merida, the dirtier that one gets, the more torn up she gets. That's appropriate. She's a princess tromping through the mud. But Belle or Sleeping Beauty, their dresses need to be more pristine and clean. So just take care of your costumes too. You're putting your heart and soul into making these things. You want some longevity out of them.
Yeah.
And this is a bot cosplay, but for my Black Widow, I have 2 cat suits for it. And because one was like $10 on sale. I was like, well, I'm not going to pass that up. Because the one I had previously, it was starting to get wear in the knees because I would bend down for pictures, especially for the kids when we were doing the volunteer events. And so I noticed the wear and I was like, oh, this sucks. I don't want, it to get torn. And then this one over here, of course, goes, but it fits so well. And I go, why didn't I think of that? I'm trying to make my, superhero look as pristine as a princess when really it's just like, oh, this actually makes it look better because, my boots are worn. So if my boots are worn, then it looks better with a worn cat suit. And so I keep the other cat suit just in case something were to happen to the one I'm using like right now. So
eventually those seams give out. You can only repair a seam so many times.
There's only so many times you can sew the bottom of a zipper in a
and a Zentai suit.
Zentai suit. Thank you.
Yeah, the closer I have gotten to my best friend there in her skin tight superhero suits with busted zipper.
So now whenever I buy Zentai suit, it's going immediately to her going, can you please sew the bottom of this?
Reinforce it.
Reinforce
it before I wear it. So
yeah,
definitely think of the character and what you're trying to portray. Yeah. And that will determine whether you need it to look more pristine or it can have that more frequent use. Yeah. And good judges will understand things that
we understand that you wear your costumes more than once, that you might not enter it the first time. So we get it. Geez, just walking from where you got dressed to the convention puts wrinkles and a little bit of dirt from the floor and everything on it. So we're not going to go, oh no, you got some dirt on it. You're wrinkly. You're not getting any awards. We're not going to be like that.
And wear and tear like that is going to look different from a mistake that you made sewing it. Like if you didn't press your seams, or like you folded something the wrong way and then tried to repair it incorrectly or something like that. So that will look different.
Press your seams. That is one of my biggest pieces of advice to people that are just starting to sew. Press your seams. And that's a good bit for competition advice. A clean pressed seam looks so professional, even on a novice outfit.
Yeah,
because it adds that structure, that nice form and shape. So press your seams. Except don't press faux leather or
you'll melt it
because it's plastic. Basically, you will be cleaning nasty gunk off your iron, and you will have ruined your work. Pressing cloths, if you must do something like that on a low setting. Yeah. So we might have to have a construction episode.
Yeah.
TJ's just gonna end up being like a new cast member over here.
I'll bring up the materials science engineering. We can do that. I'm down.
But yeah, so those were the questions I remember, and I'm very thankful that he popped up with his question just as we were bringing it up. So
that was perfect timing.
Perfect timing. So what other questions did we have?
Okay.
Quite a few.
If a contest says a build book isn't required, does that really mean it's not required?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of people at smaller conventions don't even know what a build book is.
Yeah.
I've only seen like a handful of build books in all the years that I've helped judge.
Yeah, because we do a lot of the smaller local, and a lot of the people that make them are ones that come to the smaller cons, but usually compete at larger.
Yeah.
I love the one that will bring it on their phone. They're like, we didn't know if we should bring it or not, but we have it on our phone. And I'm like, that works.
I'll take any reference I can get, because when my rules I write, I'm like, try to bring a reference image, even if it is on your phone, because don't assume the judges know every character.
Yeah. I don't know every character.
Especially newer anime, and we have a big anime crowd down here. I don't know anything past like 2010, to be honest with you, maybe 2012. So I can tell you, I know what that character looks like, but I don't know who it is.
I could tell you if a character is from JoJo, but I couldn't tell you which one it
Yeah,
is.
they have a distinct style.
Oh yeah,
very. JoJo and Demon Slayer are kind of standout obvious.
Yeah, Demon Slayer too. Yeah, it's like I could tell you're from Demon Slayer. Just like, I know a lot of games, but for example, there's some characters where I'm like, okay, I know you're probably from Genshin or Honkai, but I don't know which one, because they're very similar. So yes, definitely a reference helps us out a lot.
Yeah. And for the people that don't know, a build book is a book based on the work progress of your build. And then so it has reference image of your character, whether it's a picture from the movie, a video game, or just like fan art. I've had people do original designs. There are incredible artists that do original designs, and there have been so many great cosplays of those. And then it breaks down your cosplay with descriptions of what you've done to prove that you've made it, and especially if you've used interesting techniques or tried something extraordinary, and walk us through that process. I prefer bullet points. I know some judges with build books like sentences, but a lot of the time I'm all about bullet points. Keep it short, and then
got a limited time.
Yeah. Because you think about building it the way you would present your costume to the judges. You making your book, because you want reference pictures, you want to show your process. You're cutting out, you're patterning it on your forms or whatever. You're working with your foam, all of that. But like you said, bullet points. Yes, you might want to go into this long description about how you hand dyed this fabric and you did this technique and you found it on this thing. Just say, learn to do this with these references with this material, something like that. Don't write a novel. We don't have time to read them, even in deliberations, because sometimes you have maybe an hour.
Right.
Some cons give you a pretty good amount of time, and others give you a very limited window to make your decisions.
Yeah. So for the build book that I'm working on, keep in mind to break it down. So I'm going to have a page dedicated to like the shirt I made and the techniques and close-up photos of interesting things that I've done there. A page dedicated to my vest, or maybe that one might get 2 pages. My jacket might get 2 pages because I've done different things for the lining. I've done different things for the outside. And then so try and keep one topic per page, maybe 2. And if you can, put it on the same spread so that you're looking at them at the same time, if it is a 2-pager.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Quick reference.
Yes. And put the reference photo either on the front or the first page.
Yeah.
Yes.
That way we look at that, we're like, okay, now we know what we're looking for during the build.
Yes, definitely.
And if the rules say it's not required, it is not required. It's not it's not a gotcha. It's not a trick question. Yeah.
And you're not going to get more or fewer points, though. Don't take it as we're saying we write down points. I've done some cons that do a point system. Yeah. I'd rather deliberate with my fellow judges than do a point system. That always feels weird. But what I'm saying is you're not gonna get ahead of somebody because you have a build book.
Exactly.
And they don't.
Yeah.
You could what it boils down to is what we see in person.
Mm-hmm.
That book just lets us reference back during deliberations of what you've told us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it's not, you're not going to be like, oh, I had a build book, I'm going to win. No, if your stuff isn't as good as that other person that day, your book is not going to get you special credit,
No. Okay, next question.
Yes.
Okay. Can we bring printouts of rule queries and questions and rulings from the organizers?
I would say so.
Yeah, I would say absolutely.
Yeah. I don't
Because
think we've had that before.
I've had people, I give any con that I run them at, put my email in the rules and guidelines for the contest. So if people have questions, they can send them to me before the con. But I will welcome them bringing that and go, hey, so what does this mean in the judging?
Yeah. A couple of the contests that I've judged, the organizer was somebody else outside of the thing. So people had to submit for the contest. And if they had questions about what they were submitting, if something was appropriate or available that they could do, they, went back and forth with email and messages with the organizer for that. And it's a good idea to have those printouts or, a copy on your phone. Fewer people are printing stuff out now. But if you have that on your phone, in our instances, the organizers, the promoter did pass the information on to us, but to the judges. But in the instance that the promoter, the organizer does not pass that information along to the judges, it's good to have it on hand so that you can explain, yes, I got permission to do a non-anime character for this anime contest or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like so many cons now are multimedia that you're going to get a little bit of everything in a contest, unless it is like strictly Star Wars Celebration. You're not going to have an anime character. You might have a mashup, but you're not going to have. But yeah, there's people that might also, the wording might be a little unclear because it can get a little convoluted sometimes in the breakdown of the rules, and they just like, hey, can you clarify this for me?
Yeah,
perfectly fine. Do it.
And
don't get confused.
Oh yeah. And one question I will always push people to ask, well, not meanly, but like
you'll encourage them.
That's a better way to put it. I will encourage them. Is if you don't know the difference between like novice, journeyman, master, and exhibition, please ask. Because there's been some times where somebody will put down as novice when they're just an exhibition and vice versa. And usually some judges will, notice that and will switch you around. But don't ever be afraid to ask that. We will always let you know exactly what each mean.
Because I've done that. I normally compete in Masters now, and I was going to apply for another contest, but the wording of their rules, it made it, to me, sound like to get to Masters, you had to win under their umbrella competitions. And so I emailed, and they're like, oh, no, what skill division you normally compete at, that's what you should do.
Yeah. Like for Master, I always tell people Master is open to anybody, because some people that have been sewing for 25 years, this might be their first contest. I'm not hitting them against a novice.
Yeah.
I was about to say, we've been to a contest that we weren't judges for, but we watched. Well, maybe you weren't there, but I watched. And it was the first time that they had ever done anything, and they won Best in Show.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a few because, some of them they have been making for a long time. It took me 9 years to start competing before I ever did. But Best in Show can come from any category. It typically comes from Master, because that's usually just what's going to be the most impressive, the most work, the most detail. But that doesn't mean that it's going to come from Master.
It's not required to come from the Master.
Yeah.
It can come from anywhere. Any of the categories in craftsmanship. Now, don't expect an exhibition to be winning Best in Show in a craftsmanship contest. Not gonna happen. I don't care how perfect your portrayal of the character was. you
Got to
didn't make
finish
it. So, that's why I do like exhibition category. It gives people a chance because I will just say this, I'm not a big fan of skits. I've seen a lot of really cringy skits at anime cons over the years. I was at ACON when they decided that their skits had to be pre-recorded. 2004, they were not pre-recorded. They gave the people doing skits microphones, and a guy started telling dead baby jokes.
Oh.
Dressed as Lupin the Third.
Yeah.
The next year, all audio had to be pre-recorded and approved by the con because of that.
Yeah.
So
one person.
I've seen a lot of people write these things that I don't know if they think they're writing Shakespeare and they're writing like middle school play.
Yep. There's a reason behind every rule.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I like exhibition because it gives the people that want to show off and be a little more in character a chance to be on stage and to win something, even if they don't make their costumes. So it's a preference. I'm just not a skit person. I'm not a big fan of skits.
Okay. What advice would you give to a first-time construction judge? They have competed in construction, but not judged a contest for that.
Oh, that's a lot of good. Well, since you have been competing, you know what it's like to be in a judge's room. So think about the things that make you comfortable and uncomfortable in judging. Because I'll have people that'll be very, very nervous, and I'll look at them like, it's okay. Most of us have been on the other side of the table. So just deep breath, start from the top to the bottom. I always tell people, work your way from the head to toe.
That's
that
exactly
way you're not going to miss something, but also know your strengths as a maker. So you can I like to pick a variety so that, I have somebody that knows sewing, somebody that knows armor, somebody that knows makeup, and then you can all come together. So know your strengths. If you're an armor builder, be looking at those pieces a little more intensely than the seamstress. Mm-hmm. And that way you can kind of
ignore
compare. Don't ignore. But that'll be your specialty. So you'll know a little better what you're looking for in that.
Yes.
So that, but just be courteous. Listen to your competitors more than anything.
I was going to say, these competitors, it takes courage. It takes guts to do this because public speaking and being judged is one of the number one fears of everybody over, even dying. People are more afraid of public speaking. And then, so it takes a lot of courage to this. So be mindful of that. Give everybody, equal attention. I'll say it, people walk in and sometimes you can tell if they're going to be in the running and then sometimes not. But even if they're not, they still deserve your full attention and courtesy and respect.
Yes. And if they get chatty in a way that's not about the costume, learn to lead the conversation back.
Yeah.
Because, when you tell, my way of approaching this is, tell me about your costume. And we'll get people that start telling us about the character, the story. And you have to be like, well, tell me, what did you make, modify? Did you buy it? You lead them in, because a lot of them, it is literally just the nerves. And they just start rambling.
And that's almost exactly the line that I use. I say, tell us about what you made, bought, or modified.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. And that gives them a chance to think about it. And if that's unclear, you go, okay, did you buy this somewhere? Did you make part of it? Did you buy something that you cut up and remake? Some of them might not, especially the younger. We get a lot of kids. And, I don't expect a kid to be making a full costume from scratch. But we got some of them that are learning and they help their parents make their costumes. And it's always so cute when they go, well, I helped my mom make this. But especially, like you said, give everybody the equal time of day, even the kids.
Yes.
Because most of them are not in there because their parents made them. This is not a beauty pageant where mom said, put this dress and makeup on and get out there. These kids want to compete.
Yeah.
And, so give them the attention too, because they're the ones that are coming up behind us one day.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to put me into retirement.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yes.
It's a big one. If you want to, be like, hey, what did you do to make this seam? Or did you use a serger or whatever? Never be afraid to ask them questions.
Yeah.
I like to ask them, did you draft your own patterns? Did you use a commercial? And do not be afraid to use commercial patterns.
I know. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No, that taboo of like when I first started competing, I'm like, I'm not going to do as well because everybody's like, you shouldn't compete if you didn't draft your own patterns. I'm not mathematically inclined like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to take something flat 2-dimensional and turn it into a 3-dimensional piece. So those jumping off points, sure, modify them, use the pieces you need, but don't be afraid. Don't go, well, I didn't make my patterns. We don't care. If you did draft your own patterns, I'm going to be like, they drafted their patterns. Also, I know we're talking about being the judge, but this is another one. If it looks bought and they tell you it's not, ask if you can look at seams and try to discreetly look at that back where you can usually see the collar, the tag in the collar.
Yeah.
But don't call them out. Don't call them out on it.
Right. And that's another good thing about the build book. You need to put in work in progress photos because I've had build books that people say, this is the pants I made. And it's just the pair of pants. It's not showing the progress of the pants. And then so we had questions whether the person made these pants or this other person made this shirt. Like you said, you can look at the collar and if it is serged and you say, oh, how'd you do the seam? And they say, oh, I did whatever. And it's clearly serged. That, could be a clue.
Yeah. I mean, you can usually also tell the pre-bought costume stuff by the fabric alone.
Yeah.
That polyester, but don't ever call someone out. As a judge, you can use those leading questions to get your answer without being rude. Never be rude to them unless they come in at you in a negative way.
Yeah.
And I have made the comment to some cosplayers as a compliment where you can tell like they made the costume, but it looks so well done. It does look store-bought. And so I've told them, I'm like, take this as a compliment. I go, it looks like you bought this. Like, it just looks so good. Like, it's flawless. Like, how straight the seams are and everything. I'm like, it's kind of one of those things where like, a machine did this. It has to. But then you're like, no, they did this. Yeah. That's impressive.
But you can see that one little tiny iota that makes it go human. They worked their butts off at home on that.
Yeah.
And so, it can definitely be a compliment, but
yes,
it's
there's a way to say that.
It's tricky being a judge because this, once again, as a judge, this is art and all art is subjective. So you could have 3 judges in the room and all 3 of those judges could think a different one is the best costume that walked through that place.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's what deliberations are for. That's why you have multiple judges. Typically, it's pretty unanimous across the board. It's usually, that's the one. Everybody kind of looks at each other and is on the same page, but every now and then you're not. So you have to talk it through. And if you know the people you're going to be judging with, maybe get with them beforehand and find out what their strengths are, how they judge, if they've done it before, if you're a brand new judge, So that's one of the reasons I liked that question a lot when you sent that one to me, because you don't think about it. You think about all the people entering, but you don't think about somebody that is going to be judging that's never judged before.
Yeah.
And what you just said, that's why, the 3 people can have 3 differing opinions. And this is why don't just focus on what you're good at. Like if you're an armor build, like if you were a builder of armor builder, whatever, don't just focus on the armor. Yes, pay a little bit more attention because that's your niche, but look at the seams, look at the construction of other items so that whenever you go into deliberations, then you have an opinion on that as well, and you can see the whole picture.
Yeah.
I love one year that Hunter and I judged with our friend Dwayne, and he is definitely an armor and prop kind of guy. That's what he loves. Every time somebody walked in with a prop, he'd just be like,
"Let me see it."
He's like, "Can I hold it?" You know,
I remember that.
He was so excited because he had never judged before. He had never even competed, but he had made so much for me, for himself. I'm like, dude, this is not a huge con, and I don't know armor, and I don't have anyone that's judging with me that has made this stuff. Do you want to do it? He's like, all right, because that's how Dwayne gets excited. That's him. But he was like, while we're like looking at their, like, Hunter's very much a good overall judge, like looking at everything, the nuances, but you don't have a specialty.
I'm learning.
I'm the seamstress. You are, and that's another thing I love about contests. I learn so much from the competitors.
Yeah,
I love learning from them. But then I'm a seamstress, and then that year Dwayne was the armor and props guy. So the three of us together were one cohesive judge, basically.
Yeah.
It also helps that we're good friends, so we kind of know each other pretty well. So yeah, judging is a different thing, but help keep your competitors calm.
Yeah.
Because you get so many of them. I have had them literally come in shaking so hard that things fall off their costumes.
Yeah.
Be that calm presence for them.
Mm-hmm. There's so many times that people like be showing like jewelry that they've made or their frilly cuffs or something, and their hands are shaking. And I want to reach out and like hold their hand, but then I have to pull back. I was like, some people are not touchy, and so
Sometimes if I see that, I'll ask and be like, "Can I hold it? Like, can I see it?" And maybe they can like calm their nerve. Like, I'll hold it while they kind of like fiddle with their hands or whatever. So
or if you'll look at them and they're like, I have so many that apologize. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. I'm like, don't apologize. We've all been in your shoes. I'm like, look, I still get nervous, and I have been competing since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm like, guys, I've got over 15 years I've been doing this. I still walk into a judging room and get nervous.
Yeah.
Even when I've had judges that I know.
I was going to say, judges that I know, I still stammer.
Sometimes those are the ones to be, well, not afraid of, but like they're going to judge you even harder.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're like, I know you. And you're
that's definitely for sure. The whole judging your friends.
Yeah.
That's one of the questions.
Yeah.
What do you think about judging your friends?
Yeah. You've done that.
You definitely have to still be subjective.
Yeah.
If you cannot be, step away and let the other judges do it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially down here, again, we judge a lot of small cons. We know the local communities really well.
Yeah, we see a lot of repetitive contest competitors. See, okay, she has the brain cell now.
I have the words now. Maybe the brain cell has finally passed to me. Maybe I'll find my phone when we're done.
Yeah.
I'm at work, so now you have it.
We have a lot of friends that we have judged, and most of the time we all know each other, but they know I'm going to look at them and go, I know what you're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean I'm going to judge them harsher than the people I don't know, but I do know what their standards are.
Yeah.
So like I can say this when I say take a step back, sometimes earlier this year we were at a local convention here, and our friend Kaylee entered her new Wonder Woman. I mean, made of literal metal and real leather. Like,
oh wow.
Freaking amazing. This was her first build. And I was judging with another semi-local cosplayer and Night Mage. First off, I'm sitting in a judging room with Night Mage. This is so cool.
Yeah.
like try not to fangirl and be professional, but I'm judging with Night Mage. And the other local cosplayer didn't know our friend, but I had been watching Kaylee build this, encouraging her on it. And I judged her with them. But when we sat down to deliberate, I knew that if it got into it, I was going to back away and let them decide. but we didn't even sit down when they both went, so Wonder Woman's the best in show, right? So
Yeah.
but I was ready to step aside because that's a good friend, and I didn't want people thinking because I'm friends with them that I was playing favorites.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, her costume was definitely best in show at that con.
I've had to do that too. Judging. Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That I'll say full disclosure, this person is my friend, and like friend versus somebody that from online where you can see their stuff. That there is a difference for that. So I have said that this person is my friend, and you have to be honest, you have to be fair and subjective, and like I'll even point out mistakes that I've seen for my friends as readily as I would for somebody that I don't know.
Right. And that's what I told them when they both made that decision. I said, well, if y'all were going to deliberate on it, I was going to step aside because I know her and I've been following this. And they're like, no, she deserves this. So it was a pretty good, luck of the draw that we didn't have to kind of like bounce through it. My thing was not alerting me that there were comments happening over here. I'm so sorry, guys. So let's catch up on a few real quick. There are some questions, but also, so after the first question, Boomster just said, hi, Gravel Road, good to see you again. And this, he asked about the pristineness, and he said, I understand that. My Iron Man suit has what looks like battle damage now. Progress on that. That makes sense. Iron Man is not always going to be clean and pretty.
Yeah.
He said that our advice was helpful, so thank you. Then from your pal Palpatine, this is Fred, he's a good friend of the show. He said the best weathering I ever did was my Nazgul wearing it to the Ren Fair once a year with all the dirt and crap weathers it perfectly.
And it weathers naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
No, like for a Nazgul, that's perfect.
Yeah.
How would you put that in a build book? Have somebody take pictures of you walking through the mud?
It's just a bullet point weathering. Walked around the Ren Fair.
Right. Literally.
Mr. Joe, he also said great build book advice. And he has one more question that he sent. So this one, I like it. I was reading it before I came out. It says, when you're judging, how do you weigh perfection against passion? In other words, does a costume with some visible flaws but clear heart and creativity ever outshine a flawless but less inspired build? I'm gonna leave the question on the screen, so just in case you need to see it.
That's hard because it is a craftsmanship contest, and we are looking for the execution of it. And we see people that come in to the contest and they're telling us about their build and then how they did it, and like seeing them, people get emotional talking about it, and you can tell that they've put so much into it. But if the skill's not there, the skill and the execution just isn't there. And then so most of the time, it does go to the quote unquote perfect cosplay. But a lot of the times we get judges' choice.
I was going to mention that, yeah.
We all went there.
What we're going to do is like, this is where the judges' choice comes in.
Yeah.
This is where superlative awards come in.
Mm-hmm. Somebody with a really or like the passion, we really bring that out.
And that's something I know Hunter and I talked about it when we did this last time. When we announce the awards, we like to tell you why they were chosen before we don't just go, and novice winner is blah 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 as blah blah blah, because we like to go, so they had really beautiful scenes, the painting was great. We go into detail, especially if they point out something unique. So that people aren't going, oh, why'd that one win? Because we don't want them to go, well, that one looked better from 12 rows back from the stage. We're literally up here like this, y'all, we're on you. If you're of age and consent to it. I always ask if I can flip your scenes.
We always ask if we can touch the costume. We will always ask.
Yes. And if you tell me no, I will not touch your costume. But a lot of people that don't judge and don't make costumes, they might not see what was the flawed part to us.
Mhm.
And so by giving a description of why we picked something, it helps them understand the wins. It gives a lot less backlash on the judges.
Yeah.
I've had some bad
And
backlash
it helps
before.
encourage people too.
Yes.
Because there's so many things that like there's been a time or two where I've pointed out this was made with this and this. Like, bet
Yeah.
you couldn't guess that. And so that way people who are just starting out with the building, or even if they're seasoned, they'll probably look at it and be like, you know what? I never thought to use this to help with this.
Yeah.
And that might help them with their next build.
And, like we said, that's where the judges' awards come in. I also like to do a prop and armor category, a wig and makeup category. And I've got some cons that just give you blank certificates and go, hey, makeup awards if you see something that deserves it,
Oh, nice.
So, that way, if maybe their sewing wasn't great, but their props or armor were great, they can still get a pretty decent award, even if they're not the top tier. So, that's where we see your passion. And we give you into, it might not be a full skill division win, but it's still we still want to give it that recognition.
Yeah, the recognition. Because everyone that's competing has their heart set on competing. They're hoping to win, and we're going to disappoint somebody either way. Yeah, somebody.
I think Hunter and I have judged one contest with our friend Trinity where we had exactly as many entries as we had awards.
Oh,
and it was a really small little local con. Yeah. And we ended up having just enough that everybody won something, and then we had 3 left over, and we used those as our judges' awards.
Yep.
Oh. So, I was like, okay, this was kind of cool. People are all going to get something. But
that's not
you go in wanting to win, but don't go in expecting to win.
Right.
Yes.
See, I grew up competing. I rode horses for a long time, and the first time I ever did not win a class, and I came out crying. My dad looked at me and goes, "Did you do your best?" I was like, "Yes." He said, "Did they do better than you today?" I was like, "Yes." He goes, "Then stop crying. They won first." And I learned. I was like, you know what? At 6 years old, Dad telling me that, I went, okay, not everybody gets a ribbon. It's not everybody gets first place. So it is good to have those little superlatives to me.
Because I was going to bring that up as well.
Fascinating. Thank you for the input. So
you're welcome.
We're glad you're interacting with us over there.
At a certain point, especially in Masters, people hanging out like after judging or even before judging, sometimes you can kind of tell. You get a feeling, you look at the other competitors, and if you've been competing for a while, and if you have been in it for a while, and not putting anybody down, but after you achieve a certain level of skill, you might have an idea of maybe, the top 3 or, the top things.
Yeah. But, I always tell people about wanting to win, but not expecting to. My story is Anime Weekend Atlanta 2014. Last time I competed with my friend before she moved to Japan. And we made these, really elaborate Bride of the Water God Korean manhwa costumes. Put in a ton of work. She did all the wigs and the accessories. I made the costumes. We're going in there. We're like, this is our last hurrah. We win or lose. We made costumes we're really proud of. And there was amazing competition in that. Like, we're looking around. We're like, oh, there's no way we're winning. We're looking around like, look at that, look at that, look at that. And when they announced the Best in Show manga division, and they announced us, the guy sitting next to us had to tell us to get up because we had just won one of the awards. It didn't even reckon, like, we're like, oh, wait, that's our names. It didn't connect because we saw so many good costumes that made it just kind of like, oh, dang, we actually placed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We're at an hour, but we can keep going because we have questions. I want to finish all the questions, and we have a few pictures to show when we're done with questions.
Okay.
The last 2 episodes went like almost 2 hours, so we're good.
Sorry, my phone. Do competitors have the right to judges' feedback after competitions?
Definitely.
Yes, I agree.
And we will gladly give it too.
Don't go up to them going, "Why didn't I win?"
Exactly.
Go, hey,
Be nice
what
about
can
it.
I do better?
So-
I've had plenty of people go, what was it that kept me from winning, or what can I do to be better next time?
Yeah. So some competitions, they'll have a designated panel. So all the competitors can go to a room and the judges will be there and they'll be one-on-one to ask their questions and get their advice, where some don't. In those instances, I always try and make myself available after the contest or even on socials. I'm available and ready to answer questions.
Our
So
DMs
that's
are
another
always
responsibility as a judge. You need to be able to defend your decision.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely because I've been at the cons that do panels. Some of them will let you do one-on-one. Some of them go, hey, just come in the room if you have questions that are kind of either about your particular entry, or if people have questions like what we're doing right now. If you have questions about the contest, we spend an hour talking about being in a contest, what judges are looking for, and then if competitors ask for feedback, if they want it in the public setting, we give it to them. If they want to talk to us after the panel, we will talk to them. But because most of the time when I'm judging, I've got like a vendor or a cosplay guest table, I say, come talk to us afterwards. Hunter and I are usually there. We're like, come talk to us, or we'll talk to them outside the room after it's done. But judges should definitely be able to tell you why you did or did not place.
Yeah, and what you can.
They shouldn't just go, oh, well, their costume was better. If that's the only answer you have, I don't know if you really should be judging.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you need to be able to say, well, this person's seams were cleaner. They, their paint was smoother. Their wig had some crazy styling happening that other people didn't have. Something like that. You have to have that.
Make one.
Yeah. 3 weeks to make one, like our friend V. Don't ask me to style a wig. This is the extent of my wig styling.
This is my styling.
That's your real hair.
I go and get it dyed.
Yeah.
If you do decide to reach out to us on social media after the contest to ask us questions, they're always open.
Yes.
Please keep in mind that the sooner you ask, the better, because it'll be more fresh in our mind. I work 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes I work on Saturdays. Well, I drive to those hours, but I'm thinking about work.
Yeah.
So
you're not sitting at home at your computer for 12 hours in a day.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's like, if you ask me Monday, let's say it was on Saturday and you asked me Monday, okay, that's still going to be fresh in my mind. If you ask me like a month later, you are going to have to be giving me a lot of things to remember.
Yes.
So,
tell us who you judging.
Please
tell us who you work. Preference it. Don't just go, hey, can you give me feedback on my costume? Be like,
which costume?
But I in judging, I always have my phone out and I take a picture of every competitor that comes through the door. Now, don't expect me to have those in a month because I clear out my phone memory.
Yeah.
So unless it's like a costume that just was like, oh my God, that was amazing, or it's a friend of mine and I want to have it for them to have the picture, I delete them.
Yeah.
I used to go through.
Yeah.
You take pictures.
Yeah. Yes, I always say, is it cool? And if they say no, but most people are like, yeah, I was like, this is just for reference. Yeah. I used to post them, on like Facebook or whatever, back when people had convention galleries, back in the message board days when people would be like, hey, who posted my pictures after the con? I used to do that, but ADHD, getting older and working a lot makes me forget.
And sharing of a brain cell.
Sharing of a brain cell. I'm pretty sure we share it with a couple of other friends too, so somebody else might have it.
And they have it like the majority of the time.
I think Kay has it right now.
Kay always has it. So.
Kay has it. Kay needs it because they're literally stabbing people with needles 5 days a week. They're tattoo artists.
They kind of need it.
They need the safety and the hygiene from the brain cell. So Kay has it. We're fine. But yeah, so feedback is definitely a thing. Most of us, if we're putting ourselves out there as a guest, we're on social media. We might not be on it like some of the people, we're not the people that are full-time content creators. I don't have that kind of time or energy or money. But if I see a message, I will try to get back to it as soon as I can.
Yeah. Okay. So that will lead to another question.
All right.
What do you think about judges giving feedback during pre-judging?
Maybe little quick bits.
Yeah, but
I don't think you should ask for your full feedback.
Yeah.
If somebody goes, yeah, this scene didn't work out this way, you can go, hey, maybe if you do it this way next time. Just an idea. But don't expect a full costume breakdown feedback in judging. Please
don't have the time.
Yeah, because I was going to say it's limited time, and then also some people may not. It's going to be rare, I think, but some people may not want the feedback because they're in this mode. I got to say these things, and then they hear, they see this mistake. I should have done this, and then that can totally shatter the moment. And
we don't give advice unless it's asked.
Yeah.
Yes, unsolicited feedback is never good, no matter how positive it is. Other than, oh my God, you looked amazing.
Yeah.
Always tell a cosplayer they look great, because trust me, we are like fairies. We feed off of that. But unsolicited, I was talking 2 weeks ago about the fact that a friend of ours has been told by another local cosplayer that they don't deserve to be a cosplay guest.
Yeah.
That's out of sheer jealousy. I know who it is that told them, because they told me. But they also, this same person gave them in contest line unsolicited wig styling advice, when that person is not nearly as good as the friend of ours at making wigs. And that's not just because they're our friend. They have awards for their wig making, so they do wig commission work. This friend of ours, for their wigs and body makeup alone, they deserve what they're getting.
Yeah.
They're also just a really nice person. They're not an ugly person that tells people they don't deserve something. So there's that.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed this one. Back to build books. What is a decent size or amount of pages for a build book or portfolio?
Depends on what you're making, honestly.
But I do agree with what you said earlier. Try to keep it straightforward and minimize
a page per item.
Yeah, like the bullet points, don't make full sentences, because again, we do have a limited time to look through it. Even like you said, during our delegation, we have a limited time. So make it concise.
Yeah. I lean towards a little more brief, but you want to cover everything. So if you are doing a page per item, if it ideally, I would say like 10 to 15 pages, but if it does go farther than that, it's not terrible. It's not bad.
No.
And when we say 10 to 15 pages, don't write a novel on each page.
Also, we're not going to ding you for your page count.
We will not.
So,
no.
But remember the line from Hamlet. Brevity is the soul of wit.
Yep. That's exactly what I was
saying. This is advice. Brevity is the soul of wit. Don't
remember it now.
We're covering a lot of questions.
Brevity is the soul of wit.
Look, this is coming from me, who literally, my brother and I said, we're going to get a line I used during our fundraiser at the beginning of this year. If there's silence, I will fill it. Brad says we need that tattooed on us, because my brother and I don't know how to shut up. But at the same time, learn when to talk a lot, when to write a lot. On your online builds, if you want to write an entire blog about it that, has 30, 40 pages, go for it. Judges don't have time to read that much.
Yeah.
I judged at MTAC a couple of years ago. We judged from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. And then we had like 2 hours in between ending judging and the start of the stage. So we were packed. We were tight. We had a lot of people. So remember that your judges aren't looking just at you.
Yeah. Because, like, for example, on the build book that I'm working on for my new suit, I like a literal suit, a gentleman's suit. The pants, I'm going to start off with like the pattern that I use and how I modified it. So I added double welt pockets on the back. I did flat felled seams, and I serged the pockets, for example. And so I'll have different pictures of those, just very few bullet points. And then so really there's not much to talk about for these pants, but I want to focus on, you know, like flat felled, especially the surge pockets and how I modified it from the original.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely, like you said, hit the high notes.
Yeah.
Don't go, I sewed all of these seams, I put in this, I made belt loops, you don't need all of that. You modified it. So that to me is like that, and like you said, your flat felled seams. Oh, I love it. Flat felled. Okay, the first time I ever entered a contest and I mentioned that I French seamed my friend's skirt, the judge literally got up from the table and practically dove under her ball gown to see the French seams. She goes, I love French seams. And I'm just thankful that my friend was not a minor at the time. This woman was all up under, I think there was a petticoat, but she was so excited. So, hit those notes. Trust me, hearing the words flat felled seam and French seam for those of us that sew our costumes, we get real excited.
Yeah.
And one thing you can do, you have fantasized about French seams and folds. I don't know. I'm not seamstress here. I actually learned this in my speech class in college, and whenever we were getting ready to do our speeches, our teacher told us the night before, well, really like before the night before, but procrastinated here, so I did it the night before, to time yourself doing your speech and do it a few times. Don't just do it once, because you will talk faster and you will talk slower. Mm-hmm. See how long it takes you to, go through your build book and, think about the fact whether you're going to have the build book and you're going to show, I did this seam here. Here's the picture, think about that kind of stuff. Kind of go through a mock judging.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. You don't have to do like our friend Carrie, who literally walked up to us one time. She goes, I'm about to strip for you. We thought she was being goofy because that's how she is. No, she took off everything down to like her petticoats and showed us her seams on her Zelda costume.
That's another good thing about a build book. A lot of people that do like period dresses, like Baroque or Marie Antoinette, they'll make bloomers. They make period
things that you don't always see.
Underwear. Yeah. So pick the things that you can't see, like the underwear. And like I made a dress shirt with the collar stay liners in it. Mm-hmm. And then so I can show some of that, but also I'm going to take pictures and put that in my build book.
Right. Because you can't take off, you can't take off the jacket and the vest and all of that. So, especially if you built the pieces like the suits underneath armor and things, you can't just show us all that. So put those highlights in there. Definitely hit your highlights, but try to keep it as neat and concise as possible. But we understand some books are going to be bigger than others.
Yeah. If it takes you 3 hours,
there's really no like sweet spot page number.
Yeah. If it takes you 3 hours to get ready because of how many layers you're putting on, put the layers in the book.
Yeah.
Or else you're going to take 3 hours to take it off, and then 3 hours to put it back on.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is the last one that I got.
What
is your favorite part about being a cosplayer judge?
Learning new stuff from competitors.
Yeah.
Like I have learned so much being a judge.
Yeah. I love learning the new techniques, because I saw somebody that had used embroidery and then the Japanese mending sashiko on their thing, and it was beautiful. And I was like, I'm going to YouTube this and find out all I can. But we touched on it earlier, just seeing everyone's passion about it and see how proud people are, because I work on these things and I know that I'm proud. And
Right.
maybe I'm weird. I don't know if other people get this feeling, but I get happy for other people whenever
Mhm.
they're happy and, proud of their things. And so I get like secondhand joy out of that.
Mhm.
And so
Okay,
that's
I'm sure you can see it like in pictures when I'm on stage announcing winners and stuff, like the big stupid smile on my face as I'm handing, trophies or certificates or things to people, because I'm excited for them, especially the ones that weren't expecting to win something.
yes. Mhm.
I love watching those, or the ones that you bump a category, and so they heard their category announced, and they're like, and then they hear their name for the next one, and they're like, they just get this like totally shocked look because they didn't think that they were good enough to be in that next division.
Okay. So that was another one that I was going to bring up. It was going to be, what do you think about bumping people in category? So for people that don't know, if you are competing at novice or journeyman, so beginner or middle level, sometimes you can be bumped up into the next level and given a win for that level.
I only bump if they will win, because because I think if you bump them and they don't win, then they should have won their division.
Very true.
Because I don't want them to, like, especially if some cons like will line them up just by order of entry. Other ones we line them up by the skill division. And so some of them know they've been moved a category and some of them don't. But I don't want them to be, bumped from novice to journeyman and then not win anything at all. That's, to me, if they're not quite good enough to win the next division, that means they should have won the one below.
Yeah. Myself, I'm hesitant to bump somebody because everybody wants to progress up. They want to get to masters fast. I got bumped really fast, and it took me a long time to get those skills to really develop. So I'm hesitant to bump other people so that they can learn. And I am more likely to give them the win at the division that they are registered as than bumping them up and giving them a higher win so that they can develop those skills myself. Not to give them, not to knock them or anything, but yeah.
And I don't mean anything mean by this, but you can move people up, you can't move people down.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like you guys were saying, if it's just not there, keep them to refine those skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would rather not award a skill division than bump somebody that might not quite be there yet.
Yeah.
Because, we've had some where we didn't have a whole lot. Your novice is always going to be your biggest group. Always.
Yeah.
Journeyman is kind of a mid-ground depending, and then master is a lot thinner usually. Unless you're at like a crown competition, then everybody is master and just don't even bother being a novice. But, for that, I would rather give somebody deserving of the novice award and just not give a journeyman than give somebody who now has to compete in journeyman that might still be needing a little more time.
Yeah.
And though the one I've gone the least with awarding is master. I'll still give a best in show, but might not award a master because not everybody is quite at the master level. So it's kind of a know your crowd, know your audience. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That I'm fully willing to give best in show to someone from journeyman.
Yes.
I'm fully willing for that, but I am a little more hesitant, under the circumstances, to bump from journeyman up into master and give a master win for that.
And I think a lot of people see best in show as past masters, where if you think about it, it's the best in that show.
Yeah.
So if the best in that show was a journeyman, then that's the best in that show.
That's what it is. And I don't think I like you said, I think they really do. They think it's supposed to be like this end all be all mind blowing costume. And if you're a journeyman that won a best in show, don't think that you have to go to master just yet.
Yeah.
stay in journeyman for a little bit longer, because you still can develop your skills.
Yeah,
you can work your way up, especially if you want a best in show at a smaller con. Also look at the size of your convention. The bigger the convention, the more intense some of those levels are going to be. So if you want a master at a con where there was 1,000 attendees the whole time, your master skill is going to be different than an anime weekend Atlanta, a Dragon Con. So also think about that when you're deciding where to put yourself. Now, don't go and compete all the way at Anime Weekend Atlanta, win Best in Show, and then try to enter Journeyman at the little 1,000 entry con. Don't pull that crap. But
yeah, there's a term for that people don't know, and it's called sandbagging. So if you win awards, especially like Master, Best in Show, or Division awards at bigger competitions, and then you go to a smaller, like a library con or local con, and then just try and rake up these awards, that's called sandbagging. And that
don't be that person.
Yeah, that's not looked upon highly.
No.
I honestly, once I have placed in a skill division or a best in show with a costume, I will not compete it again. Okay. I don't really, unless it was, in a, like once again, how the crown or the Cosplay World Summit, you have to enter several times. You have to win all of these brackets.
Yeah.
That's different. That's basically the Olympics of cosplay. You have to qualify. So
that way. Yeah.
You're progressing through, it's okay. Or look at it as a beauty pageant. You won your city, then you won your state. Now you're at the national level, then you're at the world level. So, that's a little different. But my general rule is, unless I'm doing something that has multiple qualifications, I'm just not going to enter it again, because it's got something, unless it's like a judge's choice or a minor award. But if it's won a skill division or a best in show, I don't really want to put it up against other people, because then that's something Hunter and I have been seeing with a few locals. We know these faces at this point. We judge this costume. We've seen it at like 12 different cons, and that's almost not an exaggeration. I've seen a couple of costumes literally at about 5 or 6 cons now.
I know one of them that you're talking about.
And little to no addition or revision to the costume. So to me, that's, you've won something with it, especially local. Don't compete it here again.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find the way to approach that and not upset somebody.
Because you can do the same character. You can do the same outfit. Don't do the same costume. And because adding all that
a lot of,
that's not the same costume at the end of the day. If you make a lot of revisions to it, additions, whatever, that's not the same costume that you started with. So don't just take it out of your closet, put it back on, and do it.
Because some have stipulations written into the rules that if you've won before, but you've made a certain percentage of upgrades or redone it, you're allowed. And then I've looked at GalaxyCon, or maybe it's one of the other big franchises of conventions. In their rules, it lists out other cons. And it's like, if you've competed and won at this one, you're eligible. If you've competed here at this one and won, you're not eligible for this based on the size.
That's actually a good plan. So that makes sense.
But
so do y'all want to see go ahead. And then we'll get to the submissions that we have.
We have a comment, by the way.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
What? You're not telling me we have comments.
Also,
it's from your pal Palpatine. He says, "Yeah, but if you don't confer the rank of master, then they go all dark side, start killing younglings. They have high ground and lose their arms and legs." Oh, Fred, we love you.
I feel like you're just complaining because he bested you.
You were the chosen one.
Can I say what my favorite part of judging is?
Yeah.
That skipped over.
Oh,
I mean, you guys kind of said some of them like I love.
these things. You know I don't shut up.
No, you're fine. But I mean, I love seeing all the passion and all the different costumes. But I think one of my favorites is seeing the little kids and how excited they are.
yeah.
Because I had one kid,
God.
and if I remember correctly, I dressed up as a video game character, and they were as well. And they like got so excited, and like we both did like poses at the end and everything, and like seeing them being excited to show off what they've done, even if it's just putting on a costume and being that character. Like just seeing that excitement, because I know that that's just gonna grow, and so
because we feel that we feel the same way when we put one on.
I got
There's a
really
little
excited
kid
for
doing
one
the
little
poses in the
girl.
mirror.
She was an Apex Legends character, and unfortunately, she did not come back to the contest whenever we were actually doing the
You were
announcing
so mad.
That was my judges. That was my judge's choice.
She was literally scrambling at the last second to pick another judge's choice.
You know, I mean, I had multiple ones that I did like, so I was able to. But I was so sad. I was like, oh. So
she did. She was like, she kept looking in line when we were lining up. She's like, she's not here.
Oh.
Where's my kid?
But she was
I mean,
just so
we made
passionate
sure.
about it. She had
We made sure to make multiple announcements that we were lining up for the contest.
She had to have been like what, like 6 maybe, and
Yeah,
she
she
had
was
like the
very
Apex
young.
Legends pose down and everything. Like it was.
You were in heaven.
She was in it. So I just love seeing how excited the little kids get, whether they win or lose. Like they just get like some of them are doing flips and stuff on stage, and I'm just like,
okay. On the kid thing, I will tell you, and this is me playing favorites. I got to judge my nephew at 2 years old in his first cosplay contest back in March. My brother made him Link, and they came to the con and they're like, "Oh, we're going to enter him. We don't know if we'll still be here when it's time to do the stage, but he wants to swing his sword," and he was so excited. I'm like, my little buddy. We had a leftover trophy because we didn't have a youth division. And so I took it to him, and he's like, "I got a big star," because it had a huge star at the top of it.
But
So
their
like,
innocence just adds to it.
It's so cute.
They think they're really so cute.
Yeah, like I will forever be slightly biased now because Oliver entered a cosplay contest at 2 years old.
You will never see any other Link the same way.
No, Oliver is now Link.
Playing, doing Link, and you're just like...
Except that kid is definitely 100% going to be a Sith. We know it. Well, he's going to be the bad guy.
You'd be Shadow Link.
Oh, here's one more question real quick before we do pictures from Geeky Gothic Gamer Girl, our lovely friend Lauren. What awards do you wish people would add to their cosplay competitions? Because she was the one I was discussing doing the Closet Cosplay award with last time.
I wish
on the last episode here
had group categories. Not all of them do. A lot of them don't. At least a lot of the smaller ones don't. I wish more.
I had the rules. I try to put them in there.
Yeah, you do. But I feel like some people are deterred from doing group cosplays because, you know, they do want to, you know, join. But because we had, I can't remember what they were, but they tried to enter separately because of the group category. And we're like, you know what, we're making one. Join, you know, go ahead and, because we had the luxury to do that at that one. But it's like, I think we had like awards, like certificates or medals that didn't have anything specific on them. So we were able to tweak make things up on the fly. But yeah, that is one that I don't see enough of, and I wish there was more of.
I've seen some competitions. They have a sustainability award for using upcycled or recycled materials. I think that was really interesting. And that can be something that more competitions do, because with cosplay, so much of it is fast fashion. And some people make one costume and just wear it once. I'm guilty of this. I'll make a costume for a competition or, you know, whatever. I'll get this crazy idea in my head to make a costume. And then I think the sustainability award could help promote some of that sustainability. Yeah, I think that's
recycling, you know, taking old costumes and making them something new. That's definitely falls into the closet cosplay upcycling type stuff.
We do love our
I've got a couple of cosplay contests we're running in November. Maybe we should add that.
Yeah.
We could see how it goes. Yeah.
Because one of them, they literally give me certificates that I can fill out for just about anything. And, Austin lets me just do whatever I want. So.
Austin runs the convention. She runs the cosplay contest.
He just goes, what do I need to order for awards? Yep.
She runs that contest like the Navy.
Who does?
Well, he trusts me after doing multiple contests for. Okay, so this is what Lauren said. She said, I wish we could separate our best masters for sewing and best masters for armor build.
I like that.
I like that.
It can be, because it comes down to which one is quote unquote better, because neither of them is better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Two completely.
So, because it's very few people do both in one. It's not a lot of, I made this clothing piece plus this giant suit of armor.
Yeah.
So that's actually another good one, especially for larger conventions. Some of the smaller ones that we do, maybe not so much, because since I do a prop and armor category a lot, that at least will give that chance. But still, it's hard to decide which one is the better, which one deserves the master, and which one deserves best in show or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say Crown. They have best needlework, which is sewing, best armor, and best effects. So they have 3 for those, in addition to first, second, and third.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people at the Crown competitions they're not even next level. They're somewhere out in space compared to the rest of us.
Yeah.
So I'm a little.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be better for bigger conventions or more fun contests. It kind of would go hand in hand with like the exhibition. I'm sorry, Andrea, but like best skit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, see, a lot of cons don't do skits because of time.
Yeah.
You literally don't.
That's why I said, like, the more fun, like the more laid back ones where you do get a little bit more leeway, like up on the stage and stuff like that. That would be a fun one to do along.
That's one though that you definitely have to, because of how people can be and depending on the convention type.
Yes.
What they are saying and doing on stage, you definitely have to regulate that.
I agree. Yeah. I do think a lot of kids are going to win those though.
Yeah.
They're going to be doing backflips on stage and everything. And
I have a rule that if you're on my stage, your feet need to stay on the floor, because if you do a flip and you get hurt, that is on the con, like basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. Most cons don't have that kind of insurance policy. So I tell them, like, I'll have kids with skateboards. I'm like, you are not riding that skateboard across the stage.
Sign a waiver for that one. If you do a flip and you hurt yourself, it's on you.
Because I've had kids want to ride their skateboards and stuff across the stage. I'm like, this is a stage. This is not a permanent stage. It is not flat. This is not Broadway. This is a put together with risers stage. There are bumps and cracks, and I'm not having you break your neck on the stage.
And you know what they do? As soon as they get off that stage, they get on that skateboard.
Yeah.
And then I look at them and I'm like, I'm telling your mother.
He's like, touche though.
I'm like, where's your mother? Because I say if you're under 18, there should be an adult with you.
Yes, I agree with that.
All right. You want to look at, we have 5 submissions. We're going to go through those because we're at an hour and a half, almost an hour and 40 now. I think we've had a really good discussion though.
8 years.
All right. Our tiniest competitor.
Oh,
that's little Miss Rosie. She helps make a lot of her stuff with her mommy and daddy. We love Rosie. She is just her little Tinkerbell. That's like a sewing needle sword in her hand.
And her button.
Yeah. Yes, it was adorable in person.
She's also helped us judge cosplay contests.
Oh, okay.
This little one she is so cheeky and fun and but she'll come up, she goes, tell us about your costume. It's the cutest thing.
Yeah.
So
Boomster Joe commented Rainbow Bright adorable.
Yes.
she is. Oh, she knows she is. That's the thing. Little goose knows that she's cute.
And she really gets into character sometimes too.
She loves horror movie stuff. So she's running around as like the ballerina.
She was sent to the one of me and her whenever
last year in Jonesboro.
Yeah, the zombie one, and I was UPS Captain Marvel, basically.
You were that weird jumper. And then here's her gorgeous mommy, geeky gothic gamer girl, Miss Lauren.
Ooh, Oogie Boogie.
Yeah. And she hand sewed all that, not machine sewed, hand sewed.
Oh wow, that looks so good.
Yes. I've seen both of these up close and personal. Lauren hasn't had a chance to compete much because everybody just looked at her and went, "Oh, you know what you're doing? You're judging." She's like, "I'm what? Excuse me, hello." She's like, "I just done a whole lot, but okay."
For people who hand sew,
I'm not good at it. It's not my strong suit. I do it, but let me sit at my machine, please, God. Let me sit at my machine.
I cannot.
Next, we have Honey Blossom Cosplay. I've judged a couple of these. I think Colleen would be a great one for the sustainability because she does thrift and put together everything from found objects. So
that's awesome.
They live in a thrift shop and do amazing stuff with it. I'm over here going, I don't even have the patience to look through the thrift shop, much less actually fully dig through. Boomer Joe said, sewn by hand, so impressive. It really. And speaking of, here is and with a bonus gravel road.
Oh hey!
Hey!
I met Boomster Joe in Toronto at Fan Expo Canada, and his Iron Man suit was so good. And then the servos that he had for his mask were so quiet. There was almost no noise, and it was really good. It was so impressive. And at Toronto, the guests, we had hallway awards. So we had blank certificates and we could go around and give out awards at certain times of the day. And so I had met Joe the day before I was doing my awards. And so I wanted to find him to give him an award because I had seen this. And I never saw him, but I saw him the next day and he had gotten an award. One of the other guests had given him a hallway award. And so I was really glad.
Oh, good.
I feel like we should adopt that because there's a lot of people that do cool costumes that don't want to compete.
Yeah.
But being told they have a really cool costume, they would love that. And then our last one, there's some gorgeous Jane Foster. Valkyries?
Yeah,
Valkyries. I'm hoping. Okay. As somebody who's done Jane Foster, I did not build my armor. Dwayne did mine. I applaud this gorgeous piece that she has on that Jane Foster is.
Her work is really good. I judged her with her top middle is Rhaenyra Targaryen from House of the Dragon. She won Best in Show in August at Big Lit Comic Con Roanoke. And so hers was impressive. It was so good. Yeah,
she sent these to us through Instagram. She's like, "Can I send the pictures here?" I'm like, "Yes." And she sent them. I'm just like, "Yes, yes, these are amazing." So that is our submissions there. So thank you everybody for showing us what you have competed in. I know we had several last time. It's hard enough competing and then wanting to show yourself off again can be a little tough, but we're at an hour and 40 minutes. I hope this has been good information for people.
Well, I will say my boyfriend messaged me and he goes, "You guys are really passionate about this."
He met me for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I hope that myself and my whole family did not terrify the poor man.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
He was at my nephew's 3rd birthday party. "Oh, Boomster Joe, you're gonna make me cry." He said, "What an awesome podcast." Thank you. We've been at this for just over 4 years now. So, like we said, if one person tunes in, if 100 people tune in, we're going to do it regardless. We love doing it. And we like bringing people on like TJ, like our other guests that either we have some that are more known, and we have some that this is a chance to give them a spotlight, just like a contest does. We give them a chance to talk and let people see what they do. And that's why I love the viewer submissions so much is, they might get lost in the sea on Instagram or Facebook because there's so many cosplayers. This gives a chance for people that might not see them to get to see what they do. So,
yeah.
So, do you want to give any more advice like you did last time, or are we going to just wrap it up?
I always tell people, remember to press your seams. We've said it on here before. It adds just so much polish to your costumes if you're hand sewing. Take a second, to take a good look at everything. Make sure everything looks crisp and clean. But mainly, I should have said this first. Don't go broke for cosplay. It's just a hobby. And remember, you should be able to pay your bills before you go to a convention, before you make a costume that you're going to wear around. So don't go broke for cosplay.
Lovely. All right. So real quick, TJ, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Gravel Road Cosplay.
Perfect. Hunter, what about you, darling?
As it shows everywhere, I am Hunter Chick.
In
I
lead
really
speak.
want my character is supposed to be. Yeah, lead speak.
The screens don't always match up with what we're seeing.
Yeah, so somewhere near the bottom of my picture it says Hunter Chick in lead speak, where the E is a 3 and the I is a 1. I always try to flip.
Very old.
I say the 3 is an E and the 1 is an I. Lead speak it up.
And I'm pretty much on Instagram and Blue Sky, Media Rise Cosplay. You can find me or wherever the Cosplay Cafe is. So, at almost an hour and 45 minutes, again, I hope everybody enjoyed. It was great having you back on. I think we got to touch on even more cool stuff. And we are going to play our outro. We got an ad for another one of our sister shows. And we will see you all in 3 weeks, because there's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. This is the beginning of October. Don't listen to me.
3 or 30?
Huh?
You say 3 weeks or 30 weeks?
There's 3 weeks. There's an extra weekend.
I heard you say 30 weeks, and I was like,
I don't know. I don't have the brain cell.
And on that note, I'm gonna go get some food because I've lost the brain cell.
I had Chinese earlier, so we're going to say goodbye and hope everybody has a good night.
Having a great podcast comes with great responsibility, and that is why I promise to bring you entertaining and informative shows and amazing guests to geek out with together. I love touching on subjects that have influenced pop culture, unearthing historical facts, and deep diving on information about mental health and finding the truth among this information. I also enjoy having people in the chat during my live shows be part of the conversation. I feel like I have the most intelligent viewers. If you are just as curious to know how this world works and have a thirst for learning, then Geeky Discoveries is a show for you.